afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4.
It's Friday. It's a good Friday.
It is Good Friday. It is indeed the beginning of a long holiday weekend.
Yeah, the weather is beautiful for those who had the day off today. A great way to start the weekend.
Yeah, let's take a look outside. Oh, no, first, let's take a look at what's making news on this Friday. A tragedy unfolding in northeast Wisconsin where 3 people are found dead in a home. A man along with a 3-year-old and an infant is also dead. Amanda Quintana has more on what we know.
Emotional testimony today from the children of a California couple who were sentenced for running a house of horrors.
And Keely Arthur has a warning. If you're tempted to buy some tickets to Hamilton online, here's a hint. Don't.
Well, more on that in just a bit. Let's take a look outside today. Boy, just like that, spring arrived.
Yep.
Sunny and warm, a great day to stroll up State Street.
And it's an excellent Easter weekend, Dave Caulfield. Is that your doing?
Yes, it is. Could you tell? Yeah, this is a forecast that a lot of people will be happy about as we head into the next couple of days. I promise that's my last pun for the time being. I can't promise as we get into the rest of the show. But visible cloud track, a well-deserved day off. Just a couple of fair weather clouds showing up throughout the day across southern Wisconsin. A live look in Madison, and basically wall-to-wall sunshine right now on the WISC-TV Skycam. Blue skies aplenty as well on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Grant County, overlooking Platteville. Temperatures right now just short of 60 degrees in Madison. Similar story in Monroe and Janesville, both coming in at 59. 61 in Mineral Point, and the warm spot 65 in Boscobel. Way warmer than we were at this time yesterday. Helps to get those clouds out of there. Really, that sunshine can make a big difference. The only negative at times today has been that breeze at about 20 miles per hour, gusting closer to 30. I think that breeze will be less bothersome as we head into later tonight as temperatures fall through the 50s into the 40s with clear skies. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic updates. We are taking a look at Park Street and the Beltline. A little bit of slow go trying to get out of Madison, but that is to be expected. No major accidents, maybe an incident popping up a little bit closer to I-94, but really not too many delays from that as of yet. But as we take a closer look to the Beltline, as you would expect, the normal delays are starting to pile up. Verona Road eastbound to John Nolan, that'll cost you 17 minutes right now with an average speed of around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison, a little bit slow downtown to Sun Prairie on 151 northbound. That will cost you 23 minutes with an average speed of around 25 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update. We'll take a look closer at those temperatures for Easter weekend and what to expect into next week in your first alert forecast.
What a difference a year makes.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Dave, thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, police in Seymour are investigating the deaths of 3 people, a man and 2 young girls.
Their bodies were found in a home this morning. Our Amanda Quintana is here with more on the investigation. Amanda?
Yes, well, officers found the bodies of a 35-year-old man, a 3-year-old girl, and a 3-month-old girl. Their identities have not been released yet. Police went to the home on Main Street for a domestic disturbance last night, but couldn't get in contact with anyone inside. This morning, the Outagamie Emergency Response Team went into that home.
Upon entry, 3 deceased subjects were located. The deceased were a 35-year-old male subject, a 3-year-old female, and a 3-month-old female.
There is still a lot that is unclear as police continue to investigate, but they say there is no active threat. Local residents were asked to shelter in place or not return to their homes. They have been able to go back to normal activity. Police say Highway 55 and Main Street will remain closed for indefinite period of time as they tried to figure out what happened here. The police chief called it a very sad day in the city of Seymour.
It very much is. Amanda, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. A California couple will spend the next 25 years in prison for torturing their children and holding them against their will. David and Louise Turpin were sentenced this morning, but first they had to listen to emotional testimony from their children. The couple broke down as 2 of their 13 children spoke publicly for the first time, telling their parents how their abusive behavior impacted their lives.
My parents took my whole life from me, but now I'm taking my life back.
Sometimes I still have nightmares of things that had happened, such as my siblings being chained up or getting beaten.
I'm a fighter, I'm strong, and I'm shooting through life like a rocket.
The horrific abuse surfaced when the couple's 17-year-old daughter made a daring escape in January of 2018. She told police the children were chained up and denied food and water. David and Louise Turpin repeatedly apologized and expressed love for their children, saying they hope to see them again someday.
New autopsy results reveal a South Carolina fifth grader who passed away after a school fight died of natural causes, but her family is disputing the findings. 10-year-old Rainier Wright was taken to the hospital after fighting with another student at school. Autopsy results released today reveal the 10-year-old girl suffered from a pre-existing brain condition known as AVM. Officials say the health issue, not the fight, led to Rainier's death.
In this situation, in this case, and in fact it is a rare instance, the arteries and veins are tangled and intertwined. That causes pressure on the artery and the vascular walls, and that pressure eventually will lead to rupture.
They come on up with something, they're trying to cover their tracks. That's all it boils down to.
The Wright family has now hired their own investigators to look into the matter. Authorities say no criminal charges will be filed in the case.
Congress is upping the ante over the Mueller report. Less than 24 hours after the release of a redacted version of the report, House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler issued a subpoena to see the entire thing. Meanwhile, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders disputed allegations that she misled the media when she said countless members of the FBI had lost confidence in fired FBI Director James Comey.
Look, I've acknowledged that the word countless was a slip of the tongue.
We need the whole report, including the underlying documents, unredacted.
Kicking off the holiday weekend at his Florida golf club, President Trump called the Mueller report crazy and said some of the statements about him are, quote, total BS. Nadler insists the report exposes a culture of lying at the White House, and he is calling on special counsel Robert Mueller to testify. Many in Madison are excited that the musical Hamilton is coming to the Overture Center.
Just don't let the allure of the stage lights blind you into buying scam tickets. Our Keely Arthur is here now with some tips. Keely?
Well, Mark and Susan, Overture officials say Hamilton is the hottest ticket they've ever had. And of course, now some people are trying to make a buck off of the excitement. Recently, this post claiming to come from an official Hamilton page entered onto many Madison area residents' feeds, urging folks to act fast, claiming to have the final few tickets left. But Overture officials say it's fake. They've reported it to Facebook. Unfortunately, though, they don't believe this is the only one out there.
Every week. We have patrons that show up to shows and say, hey, I didn't get my tickets. They give us their order number, but it's not our system. It's an order number that doesn't tie to our system whatsoever.
To protect yourself, only purchase tickets through Overture's official website, telephone number, or head to the box office. If you do fall victim to a ticket scam, see if your credit card company will refund you the money. Well, right now, the only way to get tickets to Hamilton is if you're a season ticket holder. Individual tickets will come online sometime after May.
There will be an announcement from Overture when the tickets are going on sale.
Oh, yes. We'll hear it very loudly,
Yes,
I'm sure.
All
Lots
right,
of excitement.
Thank you, Keely.
Thank you, Keely. Still to come tonight at 4, 20 years ago tomorrow was the mass shooting at Columbine High School.
We'll look back at that tragic day through the eyes of those who lived through it. It's a special note to self when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. A new hotel is making a splash on Madison's revitalized East Washington Avenue corridor.
Hotel Indigo is located in the old Mott's Paint Warehouse building in the 900 block, and it shows off the history of the building in the main lobby. And much of the building's character alludes to the building's past and the rich history of Madison's Near East Side neighborhoods.
The property throughout actually pays tribute to a lot of Madison history, so we're not that cookie cutter type hotel. If you were to travel here, stay here, you'd have a unique experience. We're really all about getting involved in the community, being a part of this neighborhood and this East Wash corridor.
Hotel Indigo is open as of April 11th. You can book a room at hotelindigomadison.com, and its restaurant, the Palette Bar and Grill, will open April 29th.
How very cool.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It does. Wall Street closed today for the Good Friday holiday. Trading resumes on Monday. On April 20th, 1999, 2 gunmen killed 12 students and 1 teacher at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado.
Tomorrow is the 20th anniversary. CBS This Morning asked 3 members of the Columbine community to reflect on the 2 decades that have passed in their notes to their younger selves.
Dear Case.
Dear Tom.
Dear Amy. You're 18 years old, getting ready for senior prom.
For the first time in your life, you feel confident. You've overcome loss and depression and are now starting your junior year at a new high school.
You've had a really good life. A loving wife, 2 terrific kids. You're so proud of them. You are not prepared for what you're about to face. You will now mark all of your life by what happened before and after April 20th, 1999.
Tuesday morning, you'll meet with Dave Sanders, your basketball coach and mentor, to discuss a college scholarship offer. He'll say, "You have so much heart, Amy. I knew you could do it."
Instead of heading home for lunch as always, you will end up in the school library.
I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun.
2 hours later, you'll find yourself hiding from gunshots under a cafeteria table.
On the floor! Stay on the floor! Is there any way you can lock the doors?
As you crouch in fear with your classmates, you see Coach telling us to run, to get out. As you look back, you will see your coach for the last time.
School violence erupted again today, this time in Colorado.
You'll be at work watching the news coverage.
The shooting broke out just before lunch.
But we'll be in denial that something bad could happen to Daniel until hours pass with no word from him.
Big gunshot and a teacher ran by.
You will hide under a computer desk, quietly pleading with God to save you. You'll simultaneously feel the gut punch of evil as the shooters enter the library and a strong, invisible hand on your shoulder providing an unexplainable peace. A slug from a shotgun fired at close range will turn the bones in your shoulder, arm, and hand to dust and burn a path across the front of your throat. You will have the clarity of mind to slump down and pretend you are dead.
Coach Sanders and 12 students won't make it out. You'll get out safely. Your wounds are invisible.
The day will stretch into 2, as it will take nearly 24 hours to be officially notified that your only son was one of the students killed. You will face a parent's worst nightmare, the loss of a child. Stay strong. It won't be easy.
You struggle in the aftermath, feeling guilty that you survived. Your sense of safety and trust has been stolen from you. You can't sit with your back to an exit. You fall to the ground in fear when you hear loud noises. Now you're the girl from Columbine, broken. Your coach is gone, basketball isn't the same, and you're not the same. Trust your gut. Get help. Start putting yourself back together before you move on.
You will find inspiration in Daniel. You will remember how he was so very shy, yet chose to join the debate team. You will start wearing his shoes to symbolize how you too can overcome your shyness and join this great debate about making stronger gun laws. We need to have change, that enough is enough, and And I think we're going to see Daniel's wish. You will make sure the world remembers the victims, not the killers.
Daniel Mauser was only 15 years old when he was gunned down at Columbine. He was an amazing kid.
Your survival will be miraculous. A team of doctors will create a one-of-a-kind plan to use donated cadaver bones to save your arm from amputation. Still, your now disabled body and mind will cause pain, PTSD, and paranoia. You have thrived after difficult circumstances before. You can do so again.
You'll have 2 beautiful children and be married to the love of your life. He'll show you a path forward, even when you couldn't see one, and you'll walk it together. The first time you drop your daughter off at school, you'll have a panic attack, fearing she too will not be safe in the classroom. It's a chronic disorder you'll battle for years. Tell your kids not to worry. We can't live our lives in fear.
You will make Daniel proud. Adopting a baby girl from China, giving the time you would have given to him to another child, and bring healing to your family.
You will marry your Prince Charming and welcome 4 beautiful babies into your family.
Own your story. You'll travel around the country, share your story, and help others like the kids from Parkland and Paducah.
You will learn to use your story as a public speaker and author to encourage others and to advocate for bone and tissue donation.
20 years later, you will now face a painful anniversary. This one day is just so much more painful. A day you just can't wait to pass. Yet you will look back and be pleased with what you've done to keep his memory alive. When you speak publicly, you will wear Daniel's old Vans shoes, the very ones he was wearing on April 20th, 1999. Take solace in the fact you will proudly walk in Daniel's shoes for the rest of your life.
I will leave a lot on.
Persevere, ask for help, and embrace love and empathy. It will allow you to move beyond life's difficult moments and reach the beautiful ones.
Continue to be brave. Choose freedom from fear. Do not allow the troubles in your life to hold your heart and mind. The journey will be tough, but you will not only survive, you'll thrive.
'Cause I will leave the light on.
Well, take a look at this. One North Carolina woman has a very unique method for tie-dyeing Easter eggs, but not the hippy-dippy tie-dyes you're thinking of. She uses old neckties. Here's her method. 1, tightly wrap the eggs in cut pieces of neckties. 2, secure the wrapping with string. 3, cook and cool the eggs. 4, then unwrap the eggs, revealing the design. Look at those things.
What a neat idea.
Now, that's extraordinary technique.
That is a technique I've never seen before. I'd
Look
like
at
to
those.
try that. That's really
so
cool.
awesome. That'd be a good time.
Yeah,
This
not
one would be
bad.
good. Not bad.
And it was actually 1 year ago this week that this one ran afoul of the law.
You might remember Madison Police Chief Mike Colville paid meteorologist Dave Caulfield a visit here in the studio. A warrant had been issued for his arrest for stealing spring. It was a year ago yesterday. We got 7+ inches.
7+ inches of snow. And,
there he goes.
People didn't really like that.
Dave did not know this was happening either. This was so funny. And Mike Koval was such a good sport to do this with us.
But you are on reprieve this year.
Yes, I'm out on good behavior.
Good behavior.
At least for today, that is, with temperatures in the 50s, plenty of sunshine. We have an excellent forecast coming up this Easter weekend.
No yoke?
No yoke. We'll talk about the great details coming up in your First Alert forecast. Welcome back. While we enjoy this nice weather, that is not the case in the south, where a powerful storm system is spawning tornadoes, dropping heavy rains, and uprooting trees. A suspected tornado hit Morton, Mississippi, destroying numerous homes. The storm system is actually being blamed for at least 4 deaths right now. From Texas to Georgia, over 100,000 people are without power. I was tracking that last night because my sister lives in Mississippi, trying to get her through the tornado warnings there. Right now, this storm system is spawning tornado warnings in the Carolinas, all as a result of these twin low pressure systems kind of connected by a cold front. The good news for us is as this low will continue to track up the East Coast, it will miss us, and the nice weather will be in place across southern Wisconsin instead of the rain and storms. As I mentioned, severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings aplenty across the Carolinas and now moving into southern Virginia. Also some severe thunderstorm warnings, lots of lightning and thunderstorms across Georgia and Florida. Zooming in, though, we can see that none of that happening here. High pressure in town for much of this weekend, keeping the sunshine around and also the very pleasant temperatures. Live look in Madison on the Edgewater SkyCam at mostly sunny skies, just maybe some higher clouds off in the distance, but who cares about those? Temperatures are near 60 today, actually right at normal for this time of year. So our high 59, not the 40s, that was yesterday, and in the 30s for our low. Nowhere near the record, though, set back in 1980 something, I would say, or maybe the record was 84 degrees. Sorry, that graphic went by a little bit quickly there. But speaking of records and where we were in previous years, last year, remember, we woke up to 7 inches of snow on the ground. So if you're having a bad day, hopefully it makes it feel better that it is 59 and sunny right now in Madison. The high temperature 59 in Monroe and Janesville so far. 63 in Mineral Point and 65 so far the high in Boscobel. That's where temperatures are right now as well. We're in the double fives in Juneau and Watertown. Just a very pleasant day overall. The only thing trying to kind of ruin our day is that breeze out of the north at about 20 miles per hour in Madison, closer to 25 in Janesville, gusting close to 30 miles per hour in Janesville, and a little bit stronger as we get into northern Illinois. But we're talking about a fantastic Easter forecast. Happy Easter coming up over the next couple of days for the morning service. Temperatures in the mid-40s. We're in the upper 60s by the midday meal. And for those very competitive egg hunts, temperatures are really trying to compete for first place with highs in the upper 70s. I think some spots could be really close, especially across far southern Wisconsin, to hitting 80 degrees on Sunday. And typically our average first 80-degree day in Madison is May 5th. And we've actually been either at or ahead of schedule when it comes to our temperature milestones so far this year. So will we continue that trend as we head into this weekend? Still remains to be seen. We'll be close in a lot of spots. It will feel very, very nice on Saturday and Sunday with a few more clouds around for Sunday, but they won't ruin anybody's day. We're in the mid-30s for tonight, mostly clear and chilly as we head into tomorrow. The 60s come back. In the upper 60s, in fact, mostly sunny and milder across southern Wisconsin. So future tracks staying pretty quiet from a precipitation standpoint as we head into tonight. A little bit chilly to start off Saturday, but we'll forget all about that by the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, highs in the upper 60s and lower 70s. A few more clouds come by on Sunday. I do think the rain will stay out of southern Wisconsin, which is good news as temperatures get into the mid to upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. Let's move that Easter basket to Sunday because that's where it's supposed to be. But we'll take a look at the 10-day forecast anyway. We'll have some showers and storms on Monday, and then as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, those temperatures are close to 60 degrees. Can't rule out a quick shower on both of those days as well. Thursday will be dry, highs in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. And then our thunderstorm chances come back by Friday night into Saturday. So we're talking about temperatures pretty consistently in the 60s, which is good to see as we get into the end of this month. But we'll have those typical April shower chances with us for many days
well,
as well.
Seeing where we were a year ago puts in perspective how lucky we are.
Yes, we're not worthy, almost.
Easter will be nice, and happy Passover, by the way, to those who celebrate.
And our weather team will keep us up to date on the weekend weather. The weekend weather and more newsfeed this morning. Then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Lee Cowan is filling in for Jane Pauley this weekend on CBS Sunday Morning. Hi, Lee. I understand one of the stories this weekend focuses on one of the most well-known books of our time.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, it started off as, the novel, then it became the acclaimed movie. Now it's an acclaimed production on Broadway as well. It's starring none other than Jeff Daniels in the lead role. And as he told our Tracy Smith, it's a role he takes very seriously.
Is this the role of a lifetime?
Yeah, this is the role of a lifetime. And my job is to
give the performance of my life 8 times a week. It's that big a deal. It's Atticus Finch, you know? There's a long line of actors who would kill to play this role. And it's going to be a long time before they get to do that.
Now, Mark, this isn't just an adaptation of a novel. What they're really trying to do is expose a whole new generation to Kill a Mockingbird. So they're offering cut-rate tickets to students of New York City schools so they can come see the play. They've even taken it on the road to a couple of schools. It's got a few modern adaptations to it as well, but they're really trying to get a new audience for this book that's been voted one of the most beloved stories of all time.
Yeah,
so it's a
really
great project.
Yeah, it really is. I understand you also have a very moving piece on the show this week.
Yeah, we went to London to visit a very special choir. It's a choir made up entirely of the families of missing loved ones. They started this choir originally to help raise awareness of the hundreds of thousands of people who go missing every year in the UK. But in the process of singing together, they found out that it was actually very therapeutic as well, especially for one dad whose son has been missing now for more than 30 years.
Wow.
If he is in heaven, then I just pray that he can hear us and that he will know that we're still thinking of him, that we still love him.
Now, Mark, that choir actually made it all the way to the semifinals of Britain's Got Talent. They didn't win, but they got really close. They got a standing ovation. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. But the best part about it was because of all of that publicity, at least 6 missing people were reunited with their families. So it really is a choir with a purpose.
Perfect Easter weekend story. Lee, we'll see you Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Boy, that is so beautiful.
Yeah, just the voices.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. And when we come back, we're going to head to the movies.
We'll have a preview of the new horror film. Sorry, after we've been talking about all these emotions. The Curse of La Llorona? Did I say that right?
Yes, La Llorona.
Okay. I think I butchered that.
Here's a live look at Lake Mendota. Somebody out there, a couple of boaters out there on the lake.
Boy, we live in a beautiful place,
Yeah,
don't we? Look
really.
at how nice that looks.
It's going to be nicer as the weekend progresses. Well, movie characters Annabelle and the Nun have a new spiritual leader joining them in the horror movie universe.
Rick Damigella has a preview of the new film, The Curse of La Llorona. That's what it is.
You got it.
And she will come for them. Who? La Llorona.
A folktale often told to misbehaving children becomes terrifyingly real in The Curse of La Llorona.
Get to La Llorona. Is she coming?
She's already here. The movie's Latin American cast members were very familiar with the folktale of the Weeping Woman.
Yeah, we grew up with her.
It's part of our culture. She's not a fairy tale to us. It's not a made-up story. It's a very real
entity.
Yeah. Negative, dark entity that will attach itself to you.
Mijito. And you believe in her. I mean, this is what they told us. Come inside or she's going to take you. And we all heard La Llorona. Some of them, some people touch her. I heard her. Some people saw her. Some people touch her.
And you hear stories about children that disappear.
But the movie is about more than simple scares.
I also loved that it was about three mothers.
Yeah.
You have Patricia's character, my character, and La Llorona, who are three mothers who are dealing with grief. I've lost my husband. She's dealing as a single mother with battling what she's battling, and then La Llorona. And the idea of these three mothers sort of mirroring each other in some ways.
Rinsing. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Nice holiday fare.
Yes.
All right, up next we go backstage with Michael Bruno.
We'll check out Stage Q's new original production, Raid, Attack on Stonewall. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your Friday First Alert traffic update, taking a live look at Park Street in the Beltline. We're still noticing that normal slow go on the eastbound side. Westbound is looking good. Average speed on the Beltline, especially eastbound, around 10 to 25 miles per hour. Also a little bit slow go as we head on to US 151. And Stoughton Road northbound is looking good right now. We did have a stalled car on I-39, but that has since been cleared, so that's good news. Here are your drive times. Eastbound University Ave to the interstate on the Beltline. That'll cost you 26 minutes, so a little bit slow. Average speed of around 35 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison. The Beltline southbound to Janesville, that's looking good. 27 minutes with an average speed of around 65 miles per hour. And that's your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Stage Q in Madison has commissioned the original play, Raid, Attack on Stonewall. It starts tonight.
The scene is the Stonewall Inn in New York City on the night of the infamous raid and the resulting week-long riots. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage at the Bartell Theater for a look at Raid, Attack on Stonewall.
Easy now. Get back to let me go.
Stonewall was a bar in Greenwich Village that was mafia-owned at the time. For gay clientele, was one of the only places they could go in that part of New York City. It was frequently raided. Police were on the take. We were given to understand. But this night was different. This was when Mayor Lindsay came into New York City, June of 1969, wanted to crack down on these places, wanted to put the gay bars out of business. This was the first night that the patrons fought back, and it's really the beginning, 50 years ago this summer, of the beginning of the LGBT plus revolution.
Marsha P. Johnson is the character I play. She is a Black trans woman. I would say to describe her, she is a huge sweetheart, very strong and also tough. And I would just also say, if you get on her bad side, you might regret it.
We born here.
Ain't enough police in the whole of New York to get me out tonight. Just to watch. I felt it, mommy. This is just the beginning.
A lot of people were pushed into the street. The cops were actually the ones who trashed the bar, who broke the jukebox and, turned over all the furniture. And people were out on the street. And there were three specific instances, there's three specific happenstances that people collectively agreed were what started the riot. One was a woman shouting in response to police brutality to the crowd that had developed, "Why won't you guys do something?" There's also the shot glass heard around the world of Martha P. Johnson throwing it at the mirror at the back of the bar and screaming, "I got my civil rights." And then the heat actually is one of the things that was said to be one of the reasons that the riot itself happened. Everybody was uncomfortable. It was sticky and balmy, and the moon was full. Just that general feeling of electricness to the night. And people started to fight back. And the queer community, which had before this had always been peaceful in their protests, got violent and got angry and channeled all of that fear and rage that they'd been experiencing for so long into fighting back. And that was how the riots began.
Michael's here now. It's hard to believe it was 50 years ago.
Yes, indeed. 50 years ago, 1969.
So this is an original production. Melissa was the screenwriter.
Yes,
and is it historically accurate?
It is historically accurate. These are actually events that took place at the Stonewall Inn with the beginning of gay liberation in 1969, and took place at the Stonewall Inn, which is still open today.
And these are all real people?
They're all real characters.
Based on real people?
Well, yes, and some of the actors are composite of certain people that were alive during that period, but some of the actors are actually portrayed as real people that went through the riots in the 60s.
And Stage Q has done a lot of the original productions.
Yes, they have. They've done a lot of original, but this is the first time they've ever commissioned somebody to write something specifically for Stage Q and for the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. So it's kind of a first for them.
Yeah, very interesting.
It is Raid, Attack on Stonewall. It's at the Bartell Theatre tonight through Saturday, April 27th, just weekends, of course. Yeah. Go to bartelltheater.org. Next week.
Next week, it's Newsies at the Verona Area Community Theater.
Oh, that's a great show.
It's a great show.
It is so good to have you back. Look at how tan you are.
I know.
Did you have a good vacation?
Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the sun. It's nice.
You brought it with you.
Yes.
That's good.
Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, thank you.
Thanks, Michael. See you next week.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Nice start to the weekend.
Oh, fantastic outside with temperatures in the upper 50s and plenty of sunshine. Right now, that north wind is kind of the only negative on today, but it's not much of one because it's just fantastic outside, and the weather only gets better from here as we get into this weekend. Temperatures in the lower 60s across southwestern Wisconsin, and the warm spot right now, Boscobel at 65. Wind gusts between 25 and 30 miles per hour, so it's still noticeable outside, that is for sure.
Why is there always a hole by Monroe? Is there not a reporting station there?
Yeah, well, the airport in Monroe has been giving us trouble for quite some time. They don't like to report wind values. We get a lot of complaints about it.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's okay. We can't really do much about it, unfortunately, but it's usually pretty consistent with all the other winds across the area. Good question. All right, so your day planner for tomorrow, starting off a little bit chilly with clear skies, temperatures in the mid-30s as we get into the later portions of the afternoon, still with plenty of sunshine. Highs in the mid to upper 60s for Holy Saturday, and as we get into Easter Sunday, starting off in the 40s, but by the afternoon, by the time we're getting to all those competitive egg hunts, hopefully not like my family where there's pushing and shoving, temperatures in the upper 70s. So just a fantastic day with partly sunny skies for Easter Sunday.
And then staying relatively warm after that.
Yeah, temps
We're not falling off the cliff or anything.
No, exactly. Temps in the 60s pretty consistently in the next week.
Good stuff.
Have a good weekend. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
And coming up Monday here on Live at 4, CTM is presenting a sensory-friendly performance of Willy Wonka. We'll find out what makes it so special.
And we'll go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the 2019 Jeep Wrangler Sahara Edition. I like the color, too. That's Monday on Live at 4. Well, here's a question for you. How do you get a koala out of your car?
We find out in this week's edition of the News Hounds Now update with Lola and Louie.
It's News Hounds Now update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now update, koalas and dashboards don't mix.
It's eagle co-parenting.
And flamingos before they turn pink.
But first, a dusky patty melon Joey took its first peeks from its mother's pouch at the Chester Zoo in England. Zookeepers first noticed movement in mom's pouch in March. An adult patty melon's pouch has a powerful muscle to keep the Joey from falling out. The small marsupials, also known as dusky wallabies, are listed as a vulnerable species. This little one is the first of its kind to be born at this facility.
Speaking of little ones, the Rome Zoo has welcomed 4 new baby flamingos. Each baby weighs about 4 ounces at birth, and their gender can only be determined by a DNA test. Conditions have to be just right to get flamingos to breed. You need at least 20 birds, the sex ratio has to be 1-to-1, and the soil has to be just right for them to build a nest. The male and female both sit on the eggs during the 30-day incubation period, and they spend equal amounts of time feeding their babies. Born gray, the young ones will gradually turn pink as they grow into adulthood.
Here's an example of eagle co-parenting on a nest in Illinois. 2 males and 1 female bald eagle are caring for 3 eaglets born this month in a nest along the upper Mississippi River near Fulton, Illinois. The National Audubon Society says it's rare to have 3 eagles sharing a nest because males tend to be territorial. The society says what's even more remarkable in this case is the 2 males stayed together and courted a new female